got 25 minutes. We gotta go.
Hey,
Hi-yo.
Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. Really excited to have you all here with us.
And for those who have been in the comments wondering, yes, Janelle is always like this. This is not an act, folks. This is this woman's natural energy.
This is true. This is very true.
Happy hump day, guys.
Happy Wednesday. We're happy to have you all of us with us. If this is your first time here with us on Say That channel, we just want to say welcome. Go ahead and put a 1 in the comments. Let us know this is your first time. We would love to shout you out, give you a big welcome. If you have been with us before, this is the second, third, fourth, fifth, maybe 20th time that you've been with us. Go ahead and put a 2 in the comments. We want to shout you out as well. Welcome. And for those of you who are new, and those who are not, you already know, what are we all about? We are all about unapologetically talking about the ugly come up of business and entrepreneurship. We all know, we've heard those people who start from nothing and then have massive success. But what happens in the middle, right? What happens during that ugly come up? Mm-hmm. That's what we're here to talk about. What's the mindset you need to have? What are the pitfalls you need to circumvent? Tips, tools, strategies, all those things. That's what we're here to talk about. And what we've really been enjoying is that we've actually added some really cool thought leaders, really leaders in the field of their area of business to add to the conversation, because we have 25 minutes to answer the topic of the day. And we're now using their input as well to add to the conversation. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. So guys, we're going to jump into today's topic. But before we do, remember to subscribe, like, and share the content. Don't also remember to hit that notification bell so that whenever we put out new content, whether it's today live or our Monday rundowns, you guys know when we're putting that stuff out. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
What is the optimal debt to income ratio?
I heard somebody's wallet just open right now. What? You're talking to me.
Yes.
All right.
This is a great question. And, I was thinking about this because obviously we know the question a little bit ahead of time from you guys. And I was thinking this is really great for 2 ways. One, I think the vast majority of people are going to look at this and they're going to think about their personal optimal ratio. And we'll get into that. But I also want to put out there that there's an optimal debt to income ratio for businesses as well. And I think you could probably use them similarly. I think you can look at it similarly with a couple of differences. But I just wanted to point that out there that you can get credit cards or you can take out lines of credit based on your business as well. And so having a debt to income ratio and what that is important for both your personal and your business. So
that's a great way of looking at that.
Yeah, right. Like it occurred to me. So I'm just glad
we're looking at that.
Yeah, that we put it out there. I think ultimately you do not want to have as much debt as income coming in. I'm gonna lean into Winston on giving exact numbers, but I just want to say in general, you want to have more of an income than debt. However, I don't believe having 0 debt is necessarily always good either. And I've heard people talk about this because if there's essentially it's like a history of you owing but you paying back, like is there that like some sort of history of that also looks good. That might be for credit score things and not necessarily only debt to income ratio. But most people are looking at debt to income ratio because they are trying to get a line of credit or try to get a loan or something like that where your credit score comes into play, as does your debt to income ratio. So anyway, I just wanted to put those thoughts out there just to have people's minds percolating a little bit about those concepts and those ideas.
No. That's actually a great way. And guys, throw it in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are. As Janelle just shared, let us know what you guys think. If you have a number, maybe if you sat down with a financial advisor and you've been given advice, definitely throw that in the comments below. So before I share my take, and I actually agree with a lot of what Janelle had to say just now. So for those who may not know, like, I'm familiar with this, but what exactly is that? So your debt to income ratio, and we'll refer to it as your DTI ratio, is how much money you earn versus what you spend. So it's calculated by dividing your monthly debt by your gross monthly income. And was it last week we talked about money in the bank? Yeah, it was. So money in the bank, and we had conversations around what that would look like. So this kind of plays into that. because I broke down to me what percentage you should be putting away to save, things like that, right? But here's a general rule of thumb, and a lot of this I actually took from just my old real estate days. A general rule of thumb is to keep your overall debt to income ratio at or about below, 43%. So Janelle mentioned having certain money. So let's say you made, and I'm just going to use low numbers. Let's say you made $1,000 a month, all right? If you're spending, so 43 would obviously be if you're at 1,000, it'd be you having debt that's over $430 a month. So you only make 1,000. It would mean that $430 of that is coming out and is going to debt, right? So this can be seen as a wise target because it is the minimum debt to income ratio allowed. And this is where this was interesting.
Wait, you said minimum, but the word said maximum.
Oh, sorry. Maximum debt to income, excuse me, at which you're eligible for, and this is where it was, a qualified mortgage. So this is the number that banks, Janelle said this, are using when they're determining whether or not you're qualified for a mortgage, loans of some sort. Depending on the loans, it may have some stipulations which allow for some deviation. But for the most part, they're looking to see if almost or close to half the money you're bringing in is going out for debt. So if that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. But here's where, and this is the number that I would recommend. With a DTI ratio of 36 or less, you probably have a healthier amount of income each month to put towards investments or savings. Okay. And this is similar to what we were talking about again last week. This is where, as entrepreneurs, business people, and I would honestly say, even if you don't have a traditional business or a business, your overall finances, to me, is a business and should be treated as such. You should have a budget. I like the way that I think we did talk about this a lot last week. If you haven't seen last week's episode, you can tell there's a lot in there. That's why I keep referencing it. But it's the idea that you do want to have certain things in your budget for expenses, date nights, different things like that. So again, you may not have a traditional business that you're spending money on, but those little things that you have in your overall life, you can kind of still look at it as an expense like you would of the business, and you can budget for those things. And again, for many of you who are maybe looking long-term to purchase a home or purchase anything where you may need a loan or a mortgage, this is something you should start to look at now, because as you start to build up towards that, you want to be mindful of this number to make careful that you're not spending more than you're really bringing in. And where people get caught up in that is you think because you have money in your account at the end of the month that you aren't overextended. And this percentage could help you recognize where you're overextended. And we used to preach this a lot when we like really standing in front of rooms in network marketing. We used to talk about the fact, and this is still a true statement, I think it's 70 or maybe even 85% of Americans right now are $500 away from losing a significant, I'm talking about their homes. Just you're $500 away from having a really bad week. Just one accident or one roof leak or one, you crashed your car into something. And all of a sudden now that extra money that you don't have to put towards these things could really set you back a lot. So these are something, again, you guys should really be taking into consideration. Whether you've had thoughts about this or considered this ever before, I think this is something that many people should be looking into. And we see something in the comments. I agree with Janelle that it's okay to have some debt when it comes to having, like having a credit score. That's actually a great way of looking at that as well.
I love that. I love what you just said. And immediately I'm thinking about the last part that you said. So like, I know I'm one of those people. I'm like, oh, well, I have money left over, right? And so like whatever money's left over, I'll put that in savings, right? Or just the idea of having money left over before my next paycheck, I think I'm doing okay, right? Mm-hmm. So again, to put your numbers into context, if I make $1,000 a month and I have $100 left after everything, is said and done at the end of the month, and I'm like, oh, cool, I have $100 extra that I could put in savings or what have you. So I think I'm doing well. I'm not spending all my money. But if you were to look at that, that means the debt to income ratio is 90%. So exactly. You could still have leftover money, right? Like you're not spending all your money, but that doesn't mean that your debt to income ratio will qualify you for a mortgage, will qualify you for some line of credit or a loan or something like that. So I think that's really crucial. I think what you said at the very end is really important.
And actually, to that point, and Janelle just brought something up. I don't want you guys to get trapped in the idea that this is just about getting a loan or mortgage. What she said is very true. If it is that you just have the 100 at the end of the month, just understand that you're not at a healthy place. You may never want to go get a loan, but
Right.
you are not at a healthy place with the money you have left over. That if something was to happen, that you could take care of it comfortably. And that's really what it's about. Like, again, if you're never looking into a mortgage or anything like that, you might be like, oh, this it's not important. I do have some money at the end of the month. Yes, but what we're encouraging is the idea that you, again, treat it all like a business and recognize that that percentage, although you don't have that business, should still be representative of how you treat your personal finance. Yeah. Another thing, and I would say this to you, Janelle, we've probably never had this conversation. Try to pay yourself first. So a pay yourself first kind of mentality would be that same $100 should have come out of your paycheck first before you paid your other debt. And again, this is how businesses work. These people are going to ensure that they get paid first. And that's a good way. If you consider you putting it into savings, putting the money away for savings is paying yourself, because that's money that you're planning to use at a later date. So I would encourage anyone to pay yourself first, or again, speak to a financial advisor so they can walk you through your personal finances to see where you can make, those little adjustments. Yeah. If that makes sense. But
plug to financial advisors.
Oh yeah,
you don't need to be wealthy to have a financial advisor. Like, I think that's a big myth. People think that you need to be a millionaire or a billionaire in order to have a financial advisor. That is not true. Not
at all. We actually have a couple we've interviewed on the show. So if you guys need any, we can obviously recommend someone to you guys. Seriously. All right, but it's not just us today. I know we got the gentlemen from EYL who are going to be sharing their insight on this topic. So let's jump in and hear what they have to say, and then we'll come back on with our closing thoughts.
Awesome.
Debt to income hits all-time high amongst households. Why does this concern you? And are there any stocks you are looking to invest in as a result?
Yeah, I was searching all over to find a real estate stock that I really love. And I really can't find one. The only one that would play favorably in this would be JP Morgan. I think at some point in 30 years, they're probably, just like in accounting, there's a big four, and we're almost there now. I think there will probably be like 4 big banks and then just like small community branches or small community banks, and that's it. There won't be any regional or like mid-sized banks at all. But the reason why it concerns me is, like, if you're going for a $200,000 house and your income is, or your debt is $100,000, like, the ratios are really skewed. But what is really showing that scale through every class, middle class, upper class, lower class, that everyone is having like a tighter time. Like, I keep saying it, I don't think these artists went on tour, and I don't think Drake wants to be on tour, but I think somebody probably told him and Beyonce, you need to go on tour to not only increase the resolve of and the joy of American citizens, but you need to collect money off of this one tour for the next 4 or 5 years for the opportunities that may come, and to protect you and your family that you have to provide for.
Oh, wow.
When the debt to income ratio is higher, shout out to everyone that does mortgages, but when we're at a rate past 2006 and 2007, and no one's saying that we're in a bubble currently, I think that we're in a lot of trouble. Of course, Apple, Microsoft, VOO, VTI will do well in any environment. The only time I think Apple will start to fall apart is if interest rates get to 15%. I highly doubt we ever get there. But JP Morgan is like the only player that I think will be able to survive any kind of market because of the relationships that they have with the government. On the real estate side, there's not many I love. Even in that space, Blackstone and BlackRock are the 2 most important players and market makers in the real estate space. And they've done it by design. I think of it like this: a hedge fund and a bank switched their strategy to buying commercial properties across the world and wanted to become the world's biggest renter. Of course, there was pushback that they didn't have as many units as once thought, but they're making a concerted effort to be able to have income when all the tech valuations went to shit, And when the startup market fell as a result, they didn't do this by accident. I think they know that we're going to go back to a real environment where real businesses are going to have to produce real profit, real products. And because we outsource so much, we didn't provide enough education inside of our schools to make us prepared for the tech sectors or for the jobs that we're outsourcing by design, as a part of the agreement to be able to outsource overseas, and then end up messing up our economy. So JP Morgan, BlackRock, Blackstone are the three that I like as a result, but debt to income ratio being this high, that's not going to be good.
Is there a number? Is there a percentage that you know, I mean, if you read reports, people tell you anything under 35% would be a good debt to income ratio?
I mean, I'm going off my mortgage professionals. It really needs to be like 30, ideally. But to be this high, like, and then America's debt to GDP is like, so when the consumer is technically broke and the country is technically broke,
yeah,
and this is the reason why historically America has had to be in markets that were not filled with integrity. That poison index of food, pharma, alcohol, tobacco,
those are
that's
terrible.
by design. And we factor in the military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex. You know, it's our best, even if you throw in like Meta and Instagram and LinkedIn, like the social dynamic that's there, that's not great for our mental health. That's why, like, our mental health business is able to come about, because there's so much poison in our airways, produce of Wi-Fi, radiation being everywhere. Like, most of the things that we have produced in this country, even going to fossil fuels, like, have a negative effect on the environment and our body. So, but the fun part about investing is if you can find a way to buy the right companies at the right time, you can take care of your family forever. But I will say you need to start looking at some emerging markets. I'll just be out here getting a little tequila sunrise. These are just jokes for my dad. This is a light Coke sector Coca-Cola rotation, right? You have to come out here and actually see. So when I was at the same thing, when I was out here talking to some of the locals, what does tourism look like here? This is my second place I've asked. Down 70% here.
Wow.
You can see it. I went all around, went to all up the shoreline yesterday. I saw 46 cars on a 50-minute ride.
Wow.
On a Saturday. You know what that tells me? Broke.
Yeah.
Whole country, whole world is broke, with the exception of certain pockets, which is the 1%, and the 1%, they had to go to quiet luxury to not throw in your face. I got one piano.
Here we go. Mar-a-Lago, here we go. Oh, man. Oh, can I actually, I'm going to throw one comment in there. If for anyone who's, the dates he was talking about earlier was when the first housing bubble, well, not the first, but, the first housing bubble for many of our generations, I wouldn't say even yours, Janelle, or ours, I should say ours.
Yes, ours.
Fell in 2009. And those similar trends are happening right now. And what he was commenting on is they aren't reporting it and talking about it like they did in 2009 because they don't want people to panic.
Yeah.
So they're underplaying, and I'm not on here trying to instill any type of fear or anything like that, but just understand that people are out there right now and they're struggling, and to his point, but they still may keep up this facade like they are doing ecstatically well and putting up pictures like everything is still great. But to his point, travel is down. You can look at the numbers and see travel is down. Airlines are still losing money, even back from the pandemic. They're still losing money. They have
really?
not.
And no, they're not talking about this then, because I didn't know that.
Janelle, go look this. They have not come. They haven't even scratched the surface. Travel is not back to the numbers that it was, and it's not even like people don't want to go anywhere.
No. They can't afford it.
Right now, people are actually. I just saw it on the news, I think 2 days ago, where people who got over 21 billion in Social Security, they're coming for the money. They overpaid 21 billion, I think, in Social Security, and they're taking the money back. They're billing people. One woman said she had to sell her house because she had $120,000 Social Security bill from the government. who was supposed to be giving her money, she had to pay them back because she overpaid them. I mean, excuse me, because
they overpaid her.
They overpaid her.
How wild is that? As if anybody would know. Like you receive
why
a
would
check.
someone be getting extra money about their Social Security and think the government messed it up? That's such a rare occurrence.
Exactly.
21, I think, billion, and I'll confirm that number for anyone who does know. But I think that's what the report I saw said. But I know for a fact the money she owed, that specific woman, was 120,000, of which she sold her home. Her home was paid off, and she sold it because the government was sending very threatening. If you've ever gotten a letter from them, they don't mince words. They were sending a very threatening letter to this woman, and I believe, about what they wanted. $120,000 this woman had to pay them back from selling her home. And I deviate just now because I know that's not the topic, but
no, I know. I mean,
people
are broke. He didn't say it though. Did you hear him say it? What is the current average debt to income ratio right now?
Oh, I don't know. Let me see if that's actually a thing they can give you, because people lie about their incomes. So I don't know how they're getting those consensus numbers. When I don't know if you ever fill out a credit card form and they ask you how much you made. Who's ever truthfully put their income on that? Because I always put more. Well, we know Janelle would give back the money, the $10 she found in the street. So we shouldn't even ask her. But for anyone else, if you ever honestly put your income on those forms, because that's what I think though they're basing that on. They're basing that off of. Like when they run that income that you're supposed to get against your, they run your credit report to see how much debt you have out there.
Wait, can you Google that real quick? I'm like dying to know, even if it's an inflated thing or a deflated thing, I guess, if people are lying about their income. I'm interested to know.
So
but I'm sure they have
the most recent debt payment to income for the first quarter is 9.6. That means the average American spends more than 9% of their monthly income on debt. More than 9% of their monthly income on debt. I don't believe that.
They say it's 9%. I don't. So 9%. So wait, we've been talking about getting it down to 30, and they're saying the average person has 9?
No, they're saying their payment is that. That's what I'm saying. The number I think that you're looking for is not something that they can assess. So they can't tell you the amount of Americans who, they could probably tell you the amount of Americans that are over debt or or have excess debt. The average American debt. So that's the average American debt is American credit cards is 5,000, car loans 21,000, and personal loans 17,000. Meanwhile,
and let's put that into perspective. The average income in the United States right now is what, 40,000?
Well, we find it was 52 for white male. I think we had found it was 50 something for white male, because I remember you did that.
Okay, so 52,000 for white males, and we just said 17,000 personal loans, right?
17,000 personal loans, 21,000 in car loans.
21,000 in car loans.
5,221 in credit card debt.
Okay, so that amounts to $43,221.
And obviously, that's over, because a loan is over maybe 5 years, so it's not like you have to pay the full balance off. But if you saw, there was a report.
Okay, so let's cut out $10,000 then.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 33. Let's say $33,000. And the average white American makes 52,000. Wait, I must have done that wrong.
No. So let me tell you real quick. Let's do 55,000 is the average income.
Right. This is 63% is the debt to income ratio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say do the average income divided over the 12 months, and then try and take what they just told you, which is 9% of that person's monthly income, and tell me if you honestly think that person's only paying 9% of their monthly income.
No.
Exactly.
No. All right. That's why I was like, this number doesn't make sense, Winston. Explain this to me. So I think the average debt to income ratio is closer to 63%, and probably higher, probably 70, maybe even 80. But it's enough that to Ian Dunlap's comment that people don't feel like they have the money to travel.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where he is, right? Because he was saying the up and down the coast. I don't know.
For some reason, I thought Miami, but to your point, he could be in a ton of places.
Yeah.
Internationally, maybe as well.
Fair enough. Yeah. So who knows? But yeah, that's like me and you both know the importance of travel to mental health. So like,
yeah,
that's also like an issue too, which is just, so all of this is just like compounding on the already crazy mental health that people have, right?
Actually, did anyone else catch it? And I know we're running over time a little bit, but did anyone catch where he mentioned that because we're going through these things, what a great opportunity it is right now if you do any type of work or are interested in getting into that industry? That is an industry that is going to be taking off, because to his other point, schools have not prepared many of us for technical jobs which have been sent overseas. And so if you are looking to maybe, start a, get into another industry or business, you may consider, I don't want to say therapy, but anything that's out there helping people with their mental health, finding ways, whether it's candles that can do certain things for you, or writing a book. There are tons of doing workshops. There we go. There are tons of things that you could be out there doing, and starting in terms of building a business to helping others out there. And those industries, I believe the barrier of entry personally is much lower than if you were to try and get into a tech job, which is going to require you to have maybe even a master's at this stage.
Yeah,
an education. Or tons of years in experience.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys love this. This is a great topic, man, because this is something that, to your point, Jay, you're not going to see these things talked about. They're so enamored with Trump and politics that they don't tell you that while these guys are fighting for the office, the country they're fighting for is, slowly in a very interesting spin right now, I would say.
To say the least. Well, in terms of mental health, I am offering a free masterclass Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm giving the 4 steps to a 6-figure mindset, because before you can even earn the 6 figures, you have to have the mindset in order to get there. Most of us believe that we don't even deserve it. And so I'm really passionate about this subject. I can't wait to see as many people there as possible. It's free. I'm just here trying to spread good news to the brain for your mental health and sanity. So I'd love to see as many of you there as possible. Let us know that you're coming from Say That. I'd love to see you there.
Yeah, we'll definitely give you a shout out. And where do they go to register, Janelle?
Here, right there. Masterclass.bewellqueens.com/home. I'll also put it in the comments and in the comments and in the description as well.
Awesome. So guys, make sure you register. If you've already registered, let us know. Janelle will definitely give you guys a special shout out on that. Thank you guys so much for being here with us today. And as always, remember, you deserve the good life.
Say that.
Say that. We'll see you guys. Peace.